The Silicon Valley economy is booming. That seems like good news. But the bad news, there is no place to live.
More jobs means more housing demands.
As the demand for property goes up, real estate prices are soaring.
We see this urban appeal for these young tech workers, and cities in the Silicon Valley really aren't investing in more affordable housing.
Techies who arrive in the Silicon Valley say they're hit with sticker shock as soon as they start looking for an apartment.
You don't have many options. You know, if you have to live here, you have to pay for it.
I live in a one-bedroom apartment, and it's the cheapest one I can find, and it's still 35% of my monthly income. That also makes it so much more difficult to pay off my student loans.
Household debt is the ball and chain on this economy, and student debt is a big part of it.
Jill, we're talking about student loan debt. How much?
$1.2 trillion. The average kid who has debt now is graduating school with $27,000 in debt.
Housing leaders are calling it a crisis, and it's hurting both the poor and those more fortunate.
For many millennials, a college education is the difference between a lifetime above or below the poverty line. Yet more often than not, students are forced to mortgage their future in order to earn a degree. Higher education institutions offer financial aid in order to make opportunities available based on promise of the future, not circumstances of the past. Why shouldn't we extend this value structure to the real world? BLOX Millennial Villages upholds this value structure by equalizing opportunity for indebted recent graduates and validating the purpose of receiving a college education. Our mission is to help indebted recent graduates by providing access to affordable housing with innovative cargo texture solutions. By extending financial aid, we intend to build a high-quality, affordable apartment complex for recent graduates in Silicon Valley. The inability to find affordable housing is a major problem in the United States. According to the Department of Housing and Urban Development, the number of low-income individuals struggling to afford housing has grown dramatically since the 2007 financial crisis. Since 1970, availability has declined to a shortage of 5.3 million low-cost units. Silicon Valley is at the crux of this rental price boom, with the crisis falling hard on its high concentration of recent graduates. For the 33,000 people that moved to the Silicon Valley area in 2013, only 8,000 new housing units were built. This shortage of supply has caused rental prices to soar. Last year, rents in the San Jose metro area rose by 10% to an average of $2,500, making Silicon Valley one of the most expensive rental markets in the country, just as affordable housing production fell to a 15-year low. Silicon Valley has presented an unsatisfactory equilibrium amongst indebted college grads and the need for affordable housing. BLOX intends to satisfy this imbalance by introducing a high-quality, affordable apartment complex for recent graduates. The average starting salary for college graduates is $42,327. However, their average student loan debt is nearly $30,000, eating up much of their available purchasing power. BLOX will serve both lower-income recent graduates with major student debt, as well as higher-income recent graduates, cultivating a community of young professionals to promote innovation, collaboration, and diversity. In order to mitigate the cost and accessibility of building materials, BLOX takes advantage of a recent opportunity in technological change that has advanced sustainable architecture by rethinking the conventional concrete foundation. The use of recycled shipping containers offers a significantly cheaper alternative to typical housing infrastructure, and are architecturally designed to withstand harsh conditions and protect heavy loads. The stackability and congruent sizing of the containers allows for simplicity of design and cheaper, faster labor and construction to meet the region's seemingly insatiable short-term demand. Examples of cargo texture can be seen in London, Amsterdam, and Washington, D.C. Given the movement's proven success in these urban hubs, BLOX promises to make a huge splash in the Silicon Valley among recent graduates, thanks to the apartment's affordability, sustainability, and modern upscale aesthetic. The BLOX cost revenue model will apply financial aid formulas from higher education institutions to leasing contracts for each of our one-person apartments. By extending need-based support to recent graduates for up to 4 years following graduation, BLOX applies the same value structure of future promise over past circumstance to the real world. For all recent graduates, our affordable apartments will beat our competitors' average size by 10% and their average cost by over 50%. And for low-income, high-debt renters, our low-cost apartments will be cross-subsidized by recent graduates who are renting full-price units, a model already applied to student housing on college campuses across America. Of our 90 high-quality apartments, 45 will be eligible for need-based support to low-income, high-debt recent graduate renters. Assuming an average of $600 rent for each subsidized apartment, BLOX can break even and exceed profit margins within the 6th year of operation. BLOX creates direct value for its target user base by providing a cheaper alternative to expensive housing options in Silicon Valley. Providing affordable housing that also allows recent graduates to repay student loan debt will provide the independence and confidence needed to succeed and make them optimistic about their future. More broadly, BLOX creates social value by equalizing opportunity for indebted recent graduates and validating the purpose of receiving a college education. The bottom line is that society pays when students are unable to apply skills learned in college to regional economies due to prohibitive costs of living. By extending the need-based financial aid model to support recent graduates beyond just 4 years of college, BLOX benefits the entire Silicon Valley by giving all qualified graduates the opportunity to live and work wherever their skills are in demand. BLOX also helps to mitigate the widening income gap across the U.S. by providing access to affordable housing for debt-ridden millennials who seek well-paying jobs within Silicon Valley's booming tech industry. Yet Silicon Valley is not alone in presenting a challenge to recent graduates who cannot afford the rising costs of urban housing. The BLOX formula can be applied to countless other millennial destinations across the nation, from Seattle to Austin to New York City, taking on the housing crunch by storm, one city at a time.